All right, we're back. Just finished eating lunch, drinking some water. I've had a lot of coffee today already.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just thinking. I wish I had another one.
Oh, I've had so much coffee. There's some
Dang.
in the office. If you want some more, and
I don't drink that poor people stuff.
you want a little olive oil with it to elevate it.
No, far from that.
You don't want olive oil in your coffee? Come on, man.
Oh, oleato? I don't even know how you say it.
It's not a word. It shouldn't be a thing.
No.
I took a sip of that. It was 10 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Yeah. I like the episode where Brittany brought coffee and I drank it and that shocked me. I was watching that back. I'm like, oh my God, that was strong. I could almost taste how strong it was just watching it on
Yeah, she
camera.
made that at home and she was like, oh, Dylan likes super strong, so I made it super strong. Oh, she did.
We'll tone it back a little bit next time.
All right, Britt, there you go. Just bring it back half a dial.
Yeah.
Oh.
Topics. So I was just asking you if you had hot takes on it. I kind of put this first topic in here because I was curious to see like what your take would actually be. So we'll hop right into it.
Yeah.
There's a message going around on social media right now that company brands are exponentially more difficult to build than personal brands. And companies in the same time are hindering their employees from having personal brands. So what are your thoughts on companies gatekeeping employees' personal brands?
I can understand why sometimes they need to be gatekept, if you will, right?
Yeah. Okay. Why?
Because some people will post anything.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can have some very dramatic examples if we want. You can find them. I mean, if you scroll on TikTok or Instagram, I bet you anybody listening right now can already think of a person or two people or an entity that has some very controversial posts, right? Yep. And if they work for a company that is super conservative, for example, that doesn't overtly align.
Okay. So
in a way, I can get it. I do. In a manner I can understand, but those should be the exceptions to the gatekeeping situation, right? Like, okay, you should be able to look at those and go, oh, I understand why that company is not all too happy with Johnny over here. It makes perfect sense. But what is happening is companies are gatekeeping individuals that shouldn't be policed. Like, let's call it what it is. And what the reason they're doing it is because they don't want that person to look good, too good, to then leave the company and go elsewhere. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, I think only like 2 people, maybe 3, know this about me.
Oh, okay. What?
Years ago. I don't even think you know.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
So before I started 2 Stories,
okay,
right, way back when, this is before I started 2 Stories. I worked for a production company down in Bradenton, right? That production company doesn't.
Say their name.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. They
That's even worse.
Yeah, they just closed down shop. Just kind of something that didn't need to happen years ago. Whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul. Everything was fine there. But when I was getting very close to leaving, I started posting significantly more on my social media page, knowing, or not even knowing, I was believing to be leaving. Like, in my head, I was like, I think my time has come here. I'm going to start considering leaving.
Yeah.
So it was the starting phase, right? Sure. Started posting more. Lightly, very lightly. I'm talking like once a week I was posting, maybe twice. Then I knew I was leaving, and I was posting every other day, every day.
Did they notice?
Yes.
Okay.
Because a producer there legitimately called me out on it, saying that I should be posting what I was posting on my personal Instagram. I should be posting on the company page.
Okay.
And we had a nice little spat over that.
Were you posting things that were like almost exactly what the company would post? Because I post things on my Instagram
for the most part, yeah.
that I couldn't even see on TSM's page.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it was similar.
Very similar. I mean, I was a camera build or behind the scenes of this shot or this, that, and another, right? But it was in my tone. It was at the time, date Instagram, date myself. I was putting white boxes around everything to make it a square, right? And it was a horizontal image with white boxes.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So it was a very aesthetic page in that manner, right?
Sure, yeah.
The company would not have had that specific look or even that specific tone in its messaging, but it was definitely in that production vein, right? Like that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it wasn't my responsibility to post on social media.
Okay.
So I got defensive, and her and I had a nice little spat, in which essentially it was agreed that if I post, it goes to both. So like it's essentially a double post.
We didn't even have collaboration invites.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even make it easy on you.
No.
That's funny.
So that's ultimately what it was. Now, I was gatekept back then. Like, if you think about it that way, right?
Yeah.
Like they were saying, oh, I should be posting on their pages and to better their brand and their awareness. And I'm like, why should I care about you guys? Like I'm leaving, but also like was kind of not leaving on the best of terms due to some other like, because the direction that company was going, I didn't agree with, which is why I left.
Your example is following along exactly the lines of what the people who are gatekeeping are thinking it goes under. But there's like, so what happens if that company hired you and you already had a big social media presence?
I just hired someone that has an awesome following.
But then what if they tell you, you can't post anything that has to do with our stuff. You have to post whatever you do on our pages. Like, when they hired you, did they own that now? Or do they just own the work you do for the business? It's a good question.
It's a very good question. Okay, so
I can give you an example.
Please.
So we interviewed Lewis Murphy Jr. He's a wide receiver for the NFL. He was one of the guys who took a knee during that time where everyone was taking knees. And he was crucified for it. He was basically removed from games and ultimately taken out of the NFL and kind of blackballed from getting back in, even though he wasn't like some people would say, he had all the skills. He was like highly recruited. He was like a number one draft at some point, something crazy like that. He played for is it University of Florida, the Gators?
Gators.
Like where he was in the mix of all that sort of crazy stuff too with Tebow. He was getting vocal on social media, and the NFL was like, cut that out. Like, we have a precedent here, and you can't be doing all that. You're also kneeling. You're doing things that is against what we're trying to put out there. But he's like, I already had a following before I came in. I was like highly recruited. People cared about people who were watching me. I should be able to post whatever I want. But the NFL is a big company. It's not like a small business where if you're a small business, it might be, you tell me what you think, but it might be a little harder to, own someone's social media presence. When you're the NFL, I feel like that's probably in a contract somewhere.
And it most likely is. And that's the thing. Like, contracts are always going to win, right? If you sign a contract, the contract wins. Plain and simple. That's why lawyers exist, right? That's why contract law exists. That's why trademark law exists. Contract wins. Very simple line of thinking. So most likely he was fine with what he was posting. They were just gatekeeping. Yeah. But I fancy a guess that 1, 2, 3 posts broke some sort of contract of some sort.
I would think so. It is a guess. Like, obviously, we don't know what his contract looks like, but even to that point was the question of like, if they have a presence, what do you do at that point? What is your opinion on it?
If he has a presence, he's allowed to continue to utilize his presence. I know, you're big with your personal brand. You've been working on it quite substantially the last few months on social media, and you're welcome to do what you got to do. It doesn't faze me. I have no day-to-day fear of employees leaving. Long term,
that's probably the root of it for people. Yeah.
Long term, Do I wonder? Yeah, of course. It's natural thoughts, right? Like I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say like I wonder who's gonna be here for the next 50 years,
Yeah.
and who's gonna be here for the next 50 months. Like I have those thoughts just organically as a business owner, of course, right? But day to day, no fear at all. You post what you want to post. Ryan posts what he wants to post. Brittany posts what she wants to post. Heck, I post what I want to post, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all smart enough to know where the potential line could be.
I was going to say, you've seen the memes where it's like, I don't know if you've seen the memes. There's memes where it's like boss finally logs on to employees' Instagram, and their whole thing is like, I hate my job. My boss is a dick. Like all that sort of stuff. And they're like, it's like this like blown out eye guy in the picture. I'm just like, oh my God.
It's accurate. I mean, like
that can happen.
Whatever you put out on social is free game. I mean, it's social media for a reason, right? So like understand that you're going to be criticized. You have the potential to be castrated for it. But you also have the opportunity to be applauded for it, right? So anything you post, it lives on social media for a reason. You have to own it. You have to own that decision. And if it costs you your job, that was a decision you made
when you posted it.
Understanding your company's culture is going to be a big thing. I know with us, like we have a culture of like expand your knowledge, ask questions, push the boundaries. Let's do this the right way. Oh, we failed. Well, let's figure out how we can succeed the next time. And by you enhancing your personal brand, you're actually helping the company because you are learning elements for yourself that then could be catered to not only our company page and company channels that you manage, and also information we can deliver to clients. I mean, we don't do social media management for companies, but we do give insights, we do give trend information, and we help
creating the assets for the social media.
Exactly.
So we have to be informed.
Exactly.
You can't just make something and not even know what it would do on there.
And we were recently talking about like text carousels and how that could look with TSM to inform visual learners in a different way. And I know that's something that you're personally playing around with. I even made like a semi post. I didn't end up liking it. It's still in my drafts that I was just kind of playing around with.
Okay.
Just to see, because we had that conversation. I was like, oh, let me just kind of like start mocking something up myself. And it wasn't that great. But it just gets the gears turning, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like if the day comes that you or Ken or Ryan or whoever else comes and goes within the company, like I wish you guys nothing but the best, but I'm not going to gatekeep, or I do not believe you should automatically gatekeep individuals from their information, from posting what they want to post. You have to live with your decisions. If you post something that is remarkably controversial, borderline dumb, and it costs us a 5-6 digit contract because a client saw it, and because we're a boutique at the end of the day, everybody knows us.
We're going to say bespoke now.
Bespoke. I like that because we're bespoke. We, could there be ramifications to that? Yeah, there could. So I think you just have to be smart about what you post, and if you should be able to defend easily. You should be able to easily defend what you're posting for your personal brand.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
I just made a video actually where I was saying that if you haven't gotten in an argument with like your directors or whoever's above you, then you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
Because like you need to push the boundaries and you need to make someone angry to like see where the line is and how you can keep nudging it forward.
Yeah.
And if you're just playing it safe, then you're not really doing much. Yeah. I hear your take loud and clear. Like you're not against it, but you see where the line is.
I see that there is a line. I think every company's going to have a different line. Like it's a line in the sand, and every company is going to view that line in a different manner, right? Like again, super conservative company is going to have that line pushed up on people.
And I think that's where like a lot of businesses are messing up because they're taking a stance that they're super conservative when in reality they're not.
They're not.
Right? They're just playing it safe is how I'm looking at it. So, like my point of view for my brand presence, I mean, I would say I'm the only one actively pushing like personal brand on social media in the business. I would look at it. I do look at it from the aspect of like, whenever I go to an event, I just went to a visit Tampa Bay event.
Yep.
And I'm out there, and my whole thing to do there is network, to talk to people, to see what kind of connections we can make for the business, or just see if there's any kind of like real ways that we can be useful to other people as well. But if I go out there and I talk a big game, but then someone looks me up on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever they try to find me on, and there's nothing backing up the status that I'm attempting to bring to the networking event in the first place, then they're going to be like, well, this guy's saying a lot, but is he actually doing anything? Right? This guy's at the business, but what does he really do? So when I am going on to the personal brand and publishing things and saying things and whatever, at this point, I'm putting scripts together to speak on, for these platforms. Then they can go and look at it like, okay, I met this guy. He said he can do these things. He's actually active. He's saying things. He's thinking about things. Like, my whole goal is to showcase, that you can be a thought leader in your industry and be vocal. And even to the point where, I was writing something down the other day and I said that no one's going to come looking for you. You have to be your own advocate, right? So I want to encourage like Ryan, Ken, Brittany, you to be posting like way more on your personal brands, even if I have to like help to create that content for you guys. So that way, when people go to TSM, the root of this whole conversation was it's much harder to build a business brand than it is to build a personal brand. So when they go to TSM and they see that Kevin Etchemendy is a collab invite on this post, and they are going to click over and see it, that they see you're also active, that you're a thought leader, that you're bringing changes and new ideas to the industry, and that you are hiring people, you are signing big deals and that sort of stuff. They take you way more seriously versus if they go on and see your collab invite, but your page is private, then like, it's kind of weird. And if all 5 of us had big social presences, or at least worked on it actively to eventually get big, then it does circle back to Two Stories Media. Now, if someone leaves, it is what it is, but you've got 5 employees. If one leaves, you still have 4 other big personal brands that are attached to the business. Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it.
And the next person that comes in might have no personal brand. We find diamond in the rough and we hire another person, and or heck, if we stay our 5 and add our 6th, hint, hint, then that 6th gets brought up with us, and they grow, we grow. I'm not naive to the fact that someone someday is going to leave.
Sure, yeah.
All right? It might be Brittany.
That would be really bad.
That would be really bad. And not going to happen, for the record.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Knock on wood.
There's the joke of the day. When she's probably not going to think that's a funny joke, but there it is.
Kevin.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can hear it. You can hear it now. Yeah. I'm not naive to the fact that someone's going to leave someday, but we all are going to grow together up until that day.
Yeah.
And then someone, finds a different path in life, and that's a good thing, quite frankly. Next man up after that. We'll have our trials and tribulations. We'll have our turbulence while we're a man down. And once we have that next person, their personal brand grows with us.
Yeah.
It might be nothing when they start. It might be slightly something. It could be big. We don't know.
See, that's what I'm like, want to advocate to everybody. Like, a lot of businesses, it seems like, are thinking about branding and personal branding and their employees in like a famine mindset, where it's like, no, nobody can have these people. Yeah. They're mine. They do all the work for me, whatever. But if you just switch it and you think in the abundance, then if they grow, you grow. If you grow, they grow. If they go somewhere else and they had an amazing time and they loved the culture here, then they're going to share that with these people that they go to, and then hopefully the industry as a whole grows, and not thinking like me.
Yeah.
You know,
like I'm I funneled a job to you for Mix One just a few weeks ago. It was like it's a situation where like if it doesn't work for me, it works for you. If it could work for TSM, great. If it could work for Mix One, I mean, Ryan has done the same back and forth. You know, Brittany's contacts when she was immersed in the education world have come to flourish with TSM as well. Like everyone can win. There shouldn't be this famine mentality, especially when you're talking everybody who's collectively working on the business on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
it's kind of silly in my opinion. But again, I understand why the line gets drawn, but that line shouldn't be suffocating. It should be reasonable. There should be a reasonable line, and I think everybody within our organization knows where that line should be. I mean, like, just take a second to have a semblance of common sense on what you post. And
I think it should be like insubordination. If it's not insubordination, you're okay. But if you're talking bad about your employer, your coworkers, a business as a whole, well, now you got to go.
Yeah.
Because that's when the problem is. If you're posting like memes where it's like, oh God, I don't want to come in for XYZ reason. It's like, bro, like you're making us look bad.
Yeah.
Your job with your day-to-day work in the business is to make us look good. And your job as a person, whatever you're doing with your personal branding, is to make you look good, make your brand look good, make the company you work for look
Correct.
good. As simple as that.
Yep. Got time for one more topic. Hit me.
Yeah, but let me just say this. I'm desperate to put a camera on you when you're in your office on proposal calls, like trying to sign contracts and stuff like that, because I think that would be amazing content for you.
Because you hear it all the time.
Yeah, I'm like next door, and I'm just hearing you like locking things in and like your tone and how you're using the right type of words. I'm like, so many people could learn from this. People want to hear this. You just need to put a camera on you.
Yeah, we'll work through that. There's obviously some secret elements there with the companies I talk to, because they're giving me, sometimes proprietary information.
Oh, you just cut that out.
Yeah,
people want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't really.
We can play around with that. Let's see if there's an idea. Let's see if that idea can flourish and develop. How about that?
All right. So you said one more topic. I'll give you two to choose from. We're gonna nix the overcoming imposter syndrome because you like get over it.
That's my hot.
That's your hot take.
That's my
Suck
hot
it
take.
up.
I mean, suck it up, Buttercup.
So what do you want to do? Can you close a deal using an AI proposal?
Yes, let's do that one. We just talked about.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good segue. I shouldn't have even.
Yeah, there it is. All right, so we got 11 minutes before I have to pack up and get to picking up my son.
Okay, we'll get to the point.
Can we close a deal? Can you close a deal using AI proposal? Yes.
Done. Okay.
Okay. I think you can. I sincerely, yes, I think you can close a deal with AI proposals, but I sincerely believe the cap is much lower than if you were to close them organically, human being to human being.
What is the cap? Define the cap.
Let's say an AI proposal can lock in a $5,000 deal. Very simple, to the point. They meet a client at a $4,000 or $5,000 budget point. Cool. Okay, thanks. Bye. But as soon as you add a zero, $50,000. The various elements that change and scale from 5,000 to 50,000 are immense.
Like what?
Like in our industry, multiple days, multiple crew members, multiple deliverables. Maybe you're talking a campaign. Maybe you're talking creative development. Maybe you're talking how many and how long are the creative meetings? Are you doing location scouts? Are you hiring actors, actresses, models? Do they have to have a certain look to them? There's so many parameters that as of today, because obviously AI is ever changing, as of today, I do not believe that AI proposals can lock in a $50,000 deal. Do I think that they could lock in a $5,000 deal, a $3,000 small, minnow of a deal, yes, because those variables are significantly less. Could it lock in a
I don't
client?
think you even have to be that smart to get a $5,000 deal. Like you can be pretty naive and still make that happen.
Yeah, I think it could lock in small deals, editing only. Hey, I have all this footage. I need these 3 things edited. AI could just be like, here's the 10 questions. Answer these questions. It spit you input your hourly rate. It spits out an estimate of, it's going to take 30 hours to complete. Hourly rate, whatever, $100 an hour for easy numbers. 30 hours is the AI estimation. It answered the questions, and now you have a $3,000 proposal, right? Like, I think that is what AI proposals could relatively easily do, especially if you set up a GPT for it and just give it a bunch of parameters, references, answer a bunch of questions that it poses to you. And I think it could do that. But the larger scale, as of today, I do not think it could do it.
Wow, I disagree. I think it could do it.
I know you disagree. That's the second I saw that on the docket today, I was like, he knows where I'm going with this. And see, but that's the thing. I think you don't lock in enough of the larger jobs to realize the nuances that go into it. That's where I've done those.
Yeah, I agree. What I think is that you can make the AI proposal, if you make the GPT, like you said, fill in all the information in the sandbox, give it informed conversations from previous deals that you've done. Like particularly if we're talking $50,000 deals, give it the data from all the conversations that you had that successfully got you that $50,000 deal. And then do what's your hourly, what's your editing, how many this, how many that. Because a lot of what you said, it was numbers. And if it's just putting in numbers, the AI could do that. But that's when I think there is a line. You can get a proposal out, but you're right. You have to put the human nuances into it. I think it could do 85% of the work though, of getting you the proposal, and then that 15% that is you tweaking it. But at the end of the day, you tell me, but the proposal doesn't sell it.
Correct.
The salesman sells it, right? So do I think you could make 100 AI proposals and ship them out to people and get one? Yes.
The odds are in your favor. Right. If you're sending 100,
getting the $5,000 deal, like I said, I don't even think you need to be that smart to get a $5,000 deal. It's pretty easy. You can even get someone who's dumb to sign a $5,000 deal. It's not crazy. Getting the $50,000 deal, now maybe it's not sending 100 out, maybe it's sending 1,000 out, maybe it's sending 5,000 out. I think you could get it with the AI proposal. Get someone to sign somewhere to agree to do this.
Yeah, but
your odds are getting worse and worse and worse the more that goes out. Now, if you're a really good salesman, you have an 80% closing rate at this point.
70.
Right? 70.
70.
You're trash. You're awful.
I ended last year at 72%. We are at this point in time 68 as of this morning.
You're a D. Okay, so get better.
I'm terrible.
Okay? But okay, so even if you're closing 68, 70% of deals, which is actually really good, this is what I said why we need to put a camera on you, because it's your know-how that's selling. The salesperson sells it. The proposal just tells you what it is.
Correct. And AI can create a proposal. I have no doubt about that. I've had chat help me with updating our numbers this year and understanding our day-to-day operational costs and our week-to-week and our month-to-month. And, I'm using that to, I've always been good with numbers. I'm actually learning more because of chat, because I'm going, oh, that makes sense. I always thought it was 98 and chat's telling me it's 101. Cool. Now I see where that 3-point variation or $3 variation was, right?
Yeah.
Blank random. That wasn't even anything. That was just a random number I pulled out of my butt.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't think AI will actually close them. Your question was, will it close? Yes, it will close some, 10, 15%. Let's be honest. a blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Even AI sending out 100 blind proposals will lock in 1, 2, 3 of those, 5 of those, whatever the number is. But I believe that number will be low. I believe it will be impressive in the sense that AI locked them in, but in the grand scheme of things, it will be a low number. What that is, I don't know. If it comes back 7 out of 100, I'm going to go, it's impressive. It locked in 7. Wow, that's awesome. But it locked in 7. That's
Do you think it makes a difference if it's a cold proposal or a warm proposal?
Oh, massive difference. Warm proposal will maybe be 15%. Cold proposal might be 3. I mean, it could be, you really have to be careful what chat puts out. It's starting to be very obvious what are chat emails and what are not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get them, and I already...
You want to spam them pretty much. Like,
immediately.
It's a client, you can't, but you're like, man, this just feels so fake.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So
I even stopped. Like, I was using chat for emails constantly, but once I started getting them back, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bad taste in your mouth, right? Yeah.
I was like, it could do 2 sentences, but I need to do the rest of it.
Yeah, there's sucks. Like a bit of... I've never used chat for an email. No. I've used chat for information that I put in the email. Maybe again a statistic that I need, or some sort of math component, or analyzing a script and like giving me like bullet points to then use in the email. But I've never had chat write an email for me, period. And I do not intend on starting. I know it works for me right now, and I'm developing as a person, as a business owner, as just a human being on a day-to-day basis. I have a lot of goals right now for just betterment, overall betterment of myself. But I'm not starting with chat writing my emails. I'm good.
Have you ever thought about having it write the email, but not just copy and pasting it, and just seeing what it starts to give you?
I've had the thought, haven't done it.
You just don't do it. Huh. I think you should do that. But not copy. Don't make the mistake we've all made, except for you. You haven't made it. Thankfully, you haven't made it. Copy and pasting it. But like, just seeing if you could have a thread open for long enough and giving like giving the client email, getting it back, and being like, no, this is what I would say,
and have it learn.
Seeing how it learns.
It'd be interesting. Cool. Maybe I'll give it a shot on one of these.
Because it's only going to get better. Maybe not 2024, but 2025. Maybe it's good enough for you to do that. But then you've already put the time in to learn how to make it right.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. All
right. So, yeah, that was a pretty...
This is a short one. I feel like we're at 20, 30 minutes.
It is. I mean, it was essentially 35 minutes or very, very close. I just paused the alarm with 30 seconds to go. So, figured the next topic point can be TikTok overtaking Google as a search engine.
It's crazy.
TikTok overtaking Google as a search engine. Next episode.
Goodbye.
See you.